Greetings, fellow YouTubers. In this video, I'm going to discuss what hell is and why we are already in hell right here on Earth. I want to help you escape from hell. Now, you're probably thinking, what the fuck? I mean, yeah, I'm not a authority figure in any tradition of spiritual tradition, any scientific group. I'm just a free thinker. And I read very widely, and I've lived in India, and I've lived in Africa, and I've lived in South America, and all these different things. And with the internet, you can bring it all together. And here I am, telling you my interpretation of New Age look on the world. But these ideas go back a long time. So perhaps what I'm going to tell you has some parallel in Eastern traditions. But I'm very suspicious of any religion. I criticize religious fundamentalism, just like I criticize the hardcore materialism, which has no basis in science anyways, because of what quantum physics has shown us. That physicality is essentially an illusion. People just can't get that through your head. Things pop out of nothingness all the time. They just pop out and they go back in. And that's just energy. That's just the, basic physics. Not physical, that's just the basic nature of the universe. It's this quantum physics 11-dimensional world of different energy vibrations. And people, this is people use the word rational a lot, and they bring it up. They don't, it's just one of those catchwords. They just use that word rational or material or whatever. I mean, they have no argument because quantum physics, hello. Nothing is physical. It's an illusion. You're literally creating things through your observation. So, yeah, I mean, let's get into it here. The nature of the soul, okay? So, whatever it is, something continues after death. I'm not saying your personality continues, I don't know, but some sort of consciousness, even if it's just electricity. Even if you just say, oh, the neurons are firing electrically in your brain, well, that can't be destroyed. It has to go somewhere. Just like all energy has to be displaced. It cannot be created or destroyed. It just goes from one form into another form. But look, again, may argue with this, but we live different lifetimes, okay? It's not just some Hindu idea of these different lifetimes. We live different lifetimes over many millennia. I mean, time starts to become meaningless when you look at the extent of the universe. But yeah, we come into these different bodies, buildings, a building for the soul, an apparatus for the soul. It does come at a certain time when you're born at a specific time because of who you are. That's astrology there, and so we here on Earth, why are we here? Why? Because the Earth is kind of fucked up. It's kind of like it's hell a lot of the time. The pollution and the war, and it's not about the pollution and the war and the disease and all of that. What really makes Earth hell is this this separateness. This illusion of separateness, that we're cut off, that we're trapped in our bodies. We're trapped in our body, and so the religious fundamentalist wants to escape from that and get into heaven. And oh, just get me out of here, get me out. And the atheist is so bitter at the same time that that oh well it take some other mental approach like oh it doesn't matter at all and whatever, I'm just going to disappear anyways. Oh. Well, that's neither of those viewpoints are going to get you out of hell, okay? So I'm not speaking to you to convert you to anything. We should all try to escape from hell. There is something beyond hell. So hell has kind of a negative connotation. You're trapped in fire burning, and there is some suffering elements to hell, which I agree would characterize it, but it's not like we're going to be thrown in some burning pit if we live a bad life. However, their actions have consequences, and there are consequences if the soul lives a bad life, lives an unvirtuous life, and you commit crime and you hurt people. there will be consequences for that. You will not have learned your lesson, so to speak. So I look at hell a bit differently. Hell is earth. Hell is physicality. This illusion of physical nature. This illusion that we are separate from God, the universe, the extent of all things, which cannot be measured, which cannot be brought into this wanting to catch it. Aha, it exists or it doesn't exist, you know, sort of materials. No, you cannot do that when you are contained within the universe. It's impossible. It is beyond, it is this mystery element. It is this, this great unity of all creation. So Earth, the physical Earth, in existence for what, 2.5 billion years, this is essentially a training ground. This is a game board. It's a game board. It's a training ground. It's a holodeck. It's well, not the holodeck implies that, you know, nothing really matters but no, things matter, but it's this illusion of separateness, of physicality. We're on this game board, and we're trying to get things done. We're trying to develop. We're trying to grow so that we don't have to manifest here anymore. If you can believe, oh, well, that's all bullshit, and then, oh, fine, well, then you're trapped here. That's not a very self-serving idea. I mean, no, some souls might only spend one lifetime on Earth. Other souls might be here for dozens of lifetimes, maybe even hundreds, maybe even thousands. That's sad to me that you should have to spend so many lifetimes on Earth. I don't know. I mean, that's really sad. These people, they don't get it out, and then they, I mean, they don't figure it out over their lifetimes. They keep, and then they die, and then it's like, well, gotta go back to Earth because I didn't learn my lesson. They do it themselves because they can remain in the non-physical reality, existing in their consciousness, manifesting whatever they want, but it doesn't have that juiciness, it doesn't have that satisfaction of cause and effect, of really operating in a cause and effect world, operating on the game board of I guess free choice, some may call it, in this physical world. So Earth is hell because it's a training ground where we learn to evolve, and we suffer here. And suffering is this sense of separateness from that loving, all-encompassing universe. God. That's what God is. It's the universe. So, yeah, again, I'm not any group that tries to espouse these ideas, be suspicious of it. So I suspect all groups, all spiritual groups, I suspect them, just like I suspect, you know, so-called materialist or rational groups in universities. I suspect them all. They're all cults. So, you know, perhaps there are hellish worlds even lower than Earth, on maybe some other planets of the universe, or maybe in some other non-physical reality where you're, well, I guess I'm saying hell is physicality. Could there be anything more physical than what we're in right now? Maybe, I don't know. Certainly planets where, well, I guess that would be a planet like where the dinosaurs went. Kooky idea, but yeah, there's the idea that the dinosaurs just passed out into a different world. So I suppose very, very low advanced souls would literally be in the position of only being able to manifest in animal form. And so you'd be inhabiting a completely different part of the universe. Now, yeah, I've been in some pretty dark places during my travels. Examples of hellish places on Earth. I mean, I remember being in New Delhi, India for a few months, and I spent time in a slum teaching there, and all the feces and the stench and the pollution of the city where you can't even see a kilometer or two, and then it just gets completely hazed out. Or in Tanzania, a lot of these hellish places I think of are big cities like Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, or Guatemala City. In Guatemala, of course, just this very foreboding feeling, seeing all the barbed wire, seeing all the walls that people put up and all the separations between people, the fear, the stress, the you know, the darkness. And I don't just mean like literal darkness, I mean kind of the sensation of darkness, that there's something very evil here. And that's hell. That's not just a physical hell, that's a spiritual, mental hell. It's an ignorance of one's own true nature. And I don't just mean in these hellish metropolises around the world. I mean, like, it's fundamentally, it's the consciousness of the individual human. And today we're on our smartphones and we're plugged in all the time, and we're just completely we need that stimulation of being on Facebook and having people like our stuff, and you know, not very comfortable being alone, not very comfortable just being alone with ourselves and maybe a book, or maybe you know, reading something old or listening to music on our own. That's a form of hell too, being kept in that state of, you need this constant gratificational. You're in hell, and you need to escape from that, because it's an addiction which is going to grow. You're going to need more and more constant gratification. That's the material culture we've been living in. Shop, 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 buy, buy, buy all the stuff you don't need. Eat food that you shouldn't be eating because it has a lot of salt and oil. It's fried and tastes good, and it's not doing your body any good, and your body feels bad later. So it's a physical feeling. You're trapped in hell. It's the level of your consciousness. You're on a low consciousness level. We're mostly children. I've traveled around the world, and people are very good. People are mostly have common sense, which is good. However, people are on this low consciousness level. They can't even possibly open their minds to think about the deeper questions here. And so they're going to come back probably. They're going to keep coming back and coming back and coming back until the earth doesn't exist anymore. You know, each time you start a new game on earth, a new life, you're cut off from your memories of your previous lives. And of course, some souls may be older than others. I don't know exactly how the soul is created. I never said the soul was an infinite thing. I do think souls can be dissolved at some point or another, or they can live forever. It depends on how you care. But generally, you get lots of second chances. But that's not to say that like an individual like Hitler, I don't know. I mean, he probably would have gotten even second chance. It depends on I don't know what his vibration was like, what his actual vibration. But yeah, eventually, if you're so hateful and living this unvirtuous life, then your soul will be recycled. It will be eaten. But even then, you're just an expression of the universe anyways. Energy just flows into other energy. At what point do you say this is now a personality and it was not a personality before? You see, it gets harder to actually pinpoint it down. However, these patterns that we call a soul, they do manifest in different bodies over different lives. And I'm quite happy to be born as a man. I think that's a great advantage for me to pursue spiritual and philosophical topics. It's just a natural benefit. But again, am I lucky, or did I do something right in previous lives to be born in my circumstances? I think so. And I think, but that doesn't mean you can get all cocky and be like, oh yeah, well, I'm a great person and now I can just do whatever I want in life. No, each life, previous memories wiped away, and you start over again, just like wiping the hard drive clean on a computer. You wipe that memory away for a reason, so that you can operate without any interference from these good or bad things that you did in previous lives. So that might, you know, sound like karma. Karma implies cause and effect. But I'm just talking about getting rid of the memory of past lives here. But karma is still a real factor in who we are born as. Every action has consequences, and you're only kidding yourselves if you think that you can escape that, because when you die, you'll just escape all that. well, then you'll just be in this bullshit, and just like the religious fundamentalists who think they're going to get into this wonderful heaven with these pearly gates, then they're going to get bored. And just like the atheists, you know, they'll be bored or angry just the same after they've been kicked out of their body. Then they'll just have to go through it all again. So we are in hell here on earth, and I mean, there's nice things about Earth too, but you know, you can see that we're here to obviously get through this, to get to somewhere else. That's not to curse Earth. That's not to say we don't take care of the Earth. No, we want to make the Earth into a heaven here. But obviously that's not where we're at in this stage of our history. The Earth is a low frequency place. It's a low vibration place. We're children compared to the other beings in the universe. We're children. Some beings from other parts of the universe come here as teachers throughout the ages, and they come into these physical forms. You know, a lot of these other beings are humans anyways. They might even look the same, but they would have perhaps their body would be shaped differently, and they'd obviously have different technology. However, a lot of these beings are quite different from us. They've evolved and they've lived virtuously for so many lifetimes, and they are not perhaps able to manifest things just with their minds, just by the act of observation. They fully understand the power of the mind, of the emotion too, of the vibration. Everything's a vibration. Everything is energy. So they understand the illusion. This is all about evolution. And that would anger evolutionists, Darwinists. But this is real evolution, not the stupid, lame, boring, depressing conception of the Darwinists who say that man is just an ape. It's so depressing to think that. Why would you adopt that view? I mean, sure, like there have been apes in the past, but like, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean that your soul is an ape. I mean, they don't even think there is a soul. So, yeah, I think we're on Earth, we're in hell. The object is to live virtuously with love towards one another, to look clearly, to seek answers, not to be content and lazy and slothful. It's basically to shine the light, to be a source of light in the darkness. And the darkness is not bad. The darkness is just a natural accompaniment to the light. But if you want to evolve, it means shining the light into the darkness. And we want to have this opportunity eventually to manifest in more highly developed races in different parts of the universe, and steadily evolve into a union with God, the One, the pure unity of being, of all things, of all consciousness. The more advanced beings, like I said, we might not even see them. We might not even recognize them if they were to visit, because they've evolved so much that they're on a completely different plane than we are. I'm not a video gamer, but there is a video game reference. If anyone remembers the StarCraft game, I know there have been different versions of that game, but the version from I think the first version of StarCraft from the 90s, you know, there were three races. Okay, there were the Zerg, there were the humans, or what are they? The Terrans, the humans, and then you had the Protoss. And you know, notice the difference between them. The Terrans and the Zerg are very physical, but I'd argue that the Zerg are a lot more animalistic and physical than the Terrans. The Terrans are slightly more evolved, and then you have the Protoss. And the interesting thing about the Protoss, and why I think they're the most spiritually evolved, is because look how they're portrayed in that game. They're like kind of blending the point between physical and electrical or energetic or magnetic. Like some of their big guys, they're just like surrounded in all this energy. And by the way, all this energy is very real, you know, like the energy field, the aura, all of that stuff. So you know, don't be, you know, don't feel so trapped. I mean, well, I know it's a terrible feeling. You're stuck in traffic. It's like, fuck, I want to get out of here. And, you know, you're feeling depressed, or you're in, you know, you don't like your job. You're stuck in some office somewhere, and it's just like, what am I doing? And it's like, I'm in hell. It's like, well, in some sense, you are in hell, but you can get out. I hope that more humans can escape hell. And there is, you have to open up your mind to that. If you don't want to, if you want to say, oh, be hateful and say, oh, well, that's impossible, fine. I'm just trying to open up some people's minds here. Maybe you find that helpful, maybe not. But I just think too many humans, one of the reasons we're trapped in hell is because we adopt these self-defeating worldviews. Like we get caught up in this power structure that takes the power away from you and takes, you know, you should have the idea that you can always get to something better. That this is never all there is. There are things and ways of being, experiences beyond your wildest fantasies, beyond your wildest imaginations. You can attain it. It takes work. It takes focus. It takes an open mind. And that's all I have to say about that. Hasta luego, amigos.